So let's talk about autism. Let's have a talk. Let's have a talk about, what it is. The topic I'm talking about is having autism. So let's talk about it, shall we? Okay, so with me, it's okay to talk about a sensitive subject when it comes to autism. I believe that the majority of parents have to have, in some points, talk to their children about autism, and, talking about them about their diagnosis and what does this mean. So, by popular demand, I'm going to read off a few questions, and then I'm going to give you my personal feedback in this topic. Here is the first question. What is the most important thing to do when telling your child that they have autism? So that's why we're here discussing about right now. I believe that the most important thing to do when talking about the autism and telling your child that they have autism is find a good, comfortable place to do so. Like, for example, hear that? It's quiet. All right, it's quiet. It's not busy. It's not chaotic. That's something that's very, very calm and very settled down at the moment too. Find a good, comfortable conversation to talk about it. Not like so. When it's whether not just for hearing of the noises, but also sight noises too. Like you see, not much of everything over here, except a few things over here, and so on and so forth. Nice, the good place I remember talking about was something that's very secluded, where it's mostly white, or mostly without color, as you can say, too. So important thing in telling them that they have autism is being straightforward. Just tell it like it is. Saying that you are diagnosed with a very something very extraordinary and very special. And this is why things are a little scary and different at the moment for what's going on. Whether you experience some different things within yourself, or how people look at you in a certain way too. There's a good reason for that, and a lot of people just do not understand moments. Maybe you probably don't understand as well. And that's why we're here together discussing about this, about having autism, and how important it is to discuss it head on and right to the point. So be straightforward. You have it. Great, great. Yeah, just be honest about it too. It's like something that's not a lot of kids probably in your area they probably have at or you just don't know unless you ask them about this diagnosis kind of thing. And so that's the most important thing too. Just be honest, straight to the point, and be prepared for a variety of actions that come afterwards. Here is the next question. How did your parents tell you that you had autism? The question reads that you were autistic, and I always say that I'm not autistic. I'm just someone that happens to have autism. That kind of thing. The reason why I kind of said personally, and everyone's different, of course. I totally respect everyone's little thing, but the way I kind of see it is, a lot of people with autism they see things differently. This is how I see things. And I see things is that when someone is autistic, it means that they are known for having autism. Whether it's having autism is just a part of it, kind of thing too. That kind of stuff. And that's just my personal take on it. Do you agree? Feel free to leave your thoughts down below. Do you disagree with me? Feel free to leave your thoughts down below. It's makes it pretty fun. Makes it all part of the vibrant variety in this world we call the planet Earth. It's very colorful in that way. So how did my parents tell me? Well, straight to the point. You're doing things you're doing things differently and you're experiencing these things is because you have something called autism. You're diagnosed with having autism, and that's why you do these different things. You see things differently. You think differently, and people just don't understand you at the moment. Is because of these different things that go on. It happened before, and sometimes it keeps on going further down the road too. Because I have my share of oddities, and people can understand or they don't understand. And that's totally okay that they don't understand, and I'm not going to explain too much. Otherwise, there'll be so much explaining, and it will make me very exhausted. But I'm doing my utmost best to talk about autism and how important it is, and how we can negotiate with it into making it all workable. So that's how my parents told me. They told me, straight to the point, that you've been diagnosed with autism, and also saying that we can help you. We can help you. Right? And that they've noticed that I was very sensitive to noises, very sensitive to sounds. So we celebrate on our differences by celebrating with a party, and not just any ordinary party, mind you. No, this party was much quieter. It was not chaotic, and the way we celebrated was simply a party of three: my mom, my dad, and myself at the time, of course, too. And if I can remember correctly, it's wait, hold on. It's I'm tired. I think it was much later. Actually, I think it was a party of two. Now that I think about it, just me and my mom. Now that I've thought about that. Just me and my mom. My dad was out of the picture at the moment. I've already talked about that too much already. Back on my two books, Population One and Becoming One. So I'm not going to waste my energy talking about that. So feel free to check them out if you're interested. So. But it was true. It's like my mom and myself. We kind of talked about that. I was very confused, so my mom kind of I wouldn't say distracted me by all these emotions. It's more like how I would put this as in the way of as in the way of something's going on. I know something's up, and now you know about this. So let's just have fun, and just to let you know that everything's going to be okay. And that's how I kind of look at thinking back is that I know it's scary, I know it's confusing, but it's going to be okay. So I just hopped on my mom's motorcycle, and we took a very long joyride, going to new places, going out to eat, and enjoy the sun and enjoy the wind. It's I'm always the adventurous type, and it was quite lovely. Just not trying to worry about it too much. During the time being. So it was wonderful. Here is the next question. What did your parents do to help you? One thing that my parents did, also my dad also kind of helped me with this, is that my dad he was always very active and very harsh in some ways too. And what I mean by harsh in this particular sense is that he made sure that I become super active, whether it be going off to the track team or going to the gym, and also train to box. Little known secret is that I actually trained to box for about 3 years. The reason why I was trained to box was because it was my way of getting out of this aggression kind of stuff. I even did kendo, which is the art of sword fighting. Believe me, these bamboo swords. I think they were like 10 pounds or 5 to 10 pounds. I can't remember the exact weight, but these bamboo swords they really work your arms, that kind of thing too. So get rid of all that aggression and all that kind of stuff too. And I also did aikido, which is the art of taking people down to the ground, kind of thing. So the reason why I did all this all the stuff involving combat was simply to get all this aggression and confusion of knowing that I have autism. And believe me, after a few moments, there was just these thoughts going on in my head where no, where it's like, so that's why people treat me differently. So that's why people saw me as weird, or saw me as the oddball, because it's true, I was kind of the oddball in the entire school, and it did not feel really good. I couldn't figure out why, and after getting the diagnosis, I kind of, almost completely lost it. Meltdowns after meltdowns, and completely freaking out. If you can visualize my eyes being shattered, that kind of thing, or maybe even turning red, for the sake of visually stimulating, and just for the fun, because ooh, good, then get ready for the next graphic novel. But 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 yeah, it was kind of tough after learning about this diagnosis, and I'm glad my mom had handled it in a peaceful way, and my dad handled it in a get rid of all your aggression before things get ugly kind of way, kind of stuff. So I'd say both ways definitely worked equally kind of stuff too, and that was just the way that my parents helped in these sort of different ways too. There's the peaceful way, and then there's the getting it all out of your system kind of way. I'm sure there's a different term for it too. I'm sure you can figure out what it is. Can you help me on what term this is by in the comments? That'd be super good. Thank you. Because even I would like to learn a lot of different stuff too. So it's fun. It makes things pretty fun. So that's how my parents helped me in these both kind of ways. And if it weren't for those strategies from my parents, I probably wouldn't be dressing sharp and going out into keynote events and delivering some good information and how to make autism much more workable. Next question. What else could someone do to help their child understand their autism, or understand their diagnosis of autism? So I would say that's another thing that they would do in terms of having autism would happen. That would actually just stay with them. Just this is not a solo journey to understanding what it's like to have autism. It's even when your parents are involved, and even when my parents were involved at the time, I was still with a bunch of other students when I was doing kendo, aikido, and boxing. So I was definitely not alone in that concept too. It was very nice to know that there are other people that, whether they want to let off some steam, or want to get physically active, that kind of thing, then they would share stuff that I would be doing as well. Oh, and especially track. Oh my goodness, I definitely enjoyed track so much. It was just a good way to just run it all to the ground. And by that I mean run all the stimulus to the ground too. Like I would even in becoming one, I mentioned this one spectacular race that I was part of, or to put it into specifics, this challenge I took on, and I took this challenge by one of my classmates, and it was super spectacular, just good, clean fun, and you probably would understand why this was so spectacular. It's in becoming one too. If you're ever interested, if you want to dive deep down into the lore, then it's all for you. So activity is a must. And along with being active, there's also activities that you want to do. Well, in specific hobbies that you can work on. I have mentioned it on the last video that about doing art, and art is a really good way of getting rid of all this energy, all this stress. There are no limitations to art. I've said it before, and I will say it again that there are no limitations, only adjustments, and it's true, especially with art. If you're feeling angry, then start making something angry. It'll make you feel better afterwards. If it feels so sad, well, you can get all that sadness and put it in your art. You can do that, and you can choose whether to share or otherwise. You can share with your parents or your friends or maybe even a teacher, and they would definitely understand how you're feeling, and they want to help. And art is a good way of expressing that. So no limits. No, art is freedom. Go out there and make something spectacular. Yeah, let's go explore. So that's one way too. So you can help yourself as well. And art is a good way of helping to be able to understand and to cope this thing that you have known as autism. So we're in this together. I'd love to see what you come up with, and don't ever worry about thinking that people won't understand. Well, I'm here to tell you that I will understand, and I will be there to watch. I'll be there to listen, and I'll be there to acknowledge because art is important. It's important for every artist. People don't have to get it, and people who are the artists don't have to explain it. And so just get out there. Go out there. Make something spectacular. What do you recommend parents do when telling their child they have autism? What do I recommend parents? Yeah, just be calm. Just be honest, calm, and find a good location to talk about what's like. You find a time that you can find a time where you have free time. Just try to find a good day where you have all the free time that you want, whether it be a weekend where there's hardly any work or no school, or you can have all the free time you want. And this talk could last for hours. Yeah, it's just one day, and then afterwards we talk about what we want to do afterwards. So we talk about having it, and now the question remains: what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do afterwards? Yeah, what are we going to do to absorb this information of having autism? Because for me, I would say that it probably took about a couple years to kind of fully accept about this diagnosis that I've had. And those 2 years were very active. Those 2 years were very much worth it. And it's no solo journey. We can do this together. And the one thing I would say too that is a bonus question that I would ask and answer at the same time is when is a good opportunity to tell your kids that they have autism? You want my advice? I would say go for when they start becoming teenagers, or when children start asking the question, "Why am I so different?" It's okay to talk about this, whether it be much sooner when they say, when they ask the question, "Why am I so different? Why are people looking at me strangely?" Or you start talking about it when you're a teenager. And the reason why I say when you're a teenager is because when puberty starts to hit you like a rocket, and you have these hormones that go on, I'd say it's a good time to talk about having autism because that's when the puberty and hormones get overcharged, and you start going wild, start going crazy. Eyes turn red, let off some steam from your ears and from your neck, and you can get rid of all this energy in much healthy kind of ways. Because take it from me, I've always said I'm the angriest man I know, and and that's why I blew up all that steam for a few years, just doing all these activities: boxing, kendo, aikido, and track, and a bunch of other activities too, such as football and baseball. So that's how I personally dealt with it. Now how would you deal with it? How would what are your strategies? What would you do now that we've had this talk in this short amount of time? Let's talk about it. Feel free to leave your thoughts down below, and feel free to share about this information, and let's have a conversation all together. Thank you very much for your time.